This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 115 of Beers in the Lot. This week, we started out talking about the woeful and slowful starts for the Canucks and Islanders, while the New Jersey Devils actually looked pretty good. All the Devils talk led to some nostalgia about the 90s and 2000s, centered around the Buffalo Sabres, Ryan Miller, and how different goalies have fared against Sidney, Crosby, and Alexander Ovechkin over the years. Discussions about generational talent always get into some comparisons and top 100 lists, so we talked about why those things are silly, and we finished up with a nod to Phil the Thrill Kessel as he takes his place as the Iron Man in the NHL. Before we get to the beers, I just want to remind you that we have some merch for you at beersinthelot.com/shop. We have hoodies, t-shirts, and stickers. So check it out at beersinthelot.com/shop. Now, let's crack those beers.
I need to go get a glass.
Whoops.
While he's getting a glass, what you got there, John?
I have the official hydration drink of the NHL, BioSteel, because I'm still murdering my thirst and I'm adding electrolytes at this point in my sober October as well. I need to be properly hydrated. So I have the tart cherry flavor, which actually is my favorite. I really wish they do a coconut. I'm just saying that, BioSteel, please. Coconut's one of my all-time flavors. I know a lot of people. It's a very divisive flavor, and
It is, right?
you know,
I love
topic. Yeah, I love coconut. I think it's one of those things you either like hate it or love
it.
it. Like there's no in between.
Not on its own. If it's like...
Oh, no. All day
stuff,
on its own.
No, if it's in stuff, it's okay. But like, not just coconut.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Give me all the cocoa nuts. Yeah, all the cocoa nuts. All of them. Aaron, what are you drinking this evening?
I have a little late to this party, but I've got from our friends at Flying Dog a Dogtoberfest.
There you go.
It's
good
not the right season and not the right time, I guess. It's a month late, I guess, for Oktoberfest, but
Yeah,
you're fine.
This is
You're
good
fine.
still.
Yeah.
It's still tasty.
There's no
It's
real
freshen up
rules.
for me.
Yeah, it's fine.
There's not really rules about this sort of
Just drink what you like. Just drink what you want.
As long as it's fresh. You don't want old stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't see any dates on it anywhere. That could
I
be a
think
bad
weird.
thing, but it's
Weird.
fine.
Flying Dog usually... they usually put a drink by date on there. So, you should
Okay,
be
we
all right.
got January 31st of next
Yeah.
year. That's fine. Yeah.
You're good.
It's fine. It'll be fine. What's the drink by date on yours there, Riggs?
I have no idea.
Might not have one on.
No,
on
I
an NA.
didn't even look. I'm getting down to the last few Athletic Brews, so this is actually a repeat from last week. Whoops. Athletic Brewing's Upside Dawn Golden Ale. I'll say it properly first.
Non-Yinzer time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
non-Yinzer this week.
Yeah,
Non-Yinzer this week.
I got the joke in last week, so.
Yeah.
And while Daniel was away getting a glass, he has since poured what?
Yes. So I have a Kolsch 151 by Blue Mountain Brewery. They make one of my top 10 beers, Hopwork Orange.
Oh, yeah.
Super good beer. Super good beer.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty good.
Sounds like a win to me, unlike Vancouver. Who is still winless at the time of this recording after 6 games played.
And today it was announced Besser is day by day and Hughes is out for a while. We're recording this Monday, so that may change by
So it's not
Wednesday,
getting any
but
better.
It's not getting.
No.
And
I've heard it said that how you do in the first 10 is often indicative of how you'll probably do in the next 72. So They're already at below 500 for the first 10. So maybe they can make something out of this season. Who knows? Guess we'll see. Who picked them in our fantasy? That might be me.
I have them.
Oh, you have them? Oh.
Yes.
Riggs also has Arizona too.
Yeah, but they beat Toronto.
Oh,
That's really not saying much, though.
In Toronto.
Yeah, I don't know why. What was the name? Was it Christian Fisher said something last week? Oh, well, I don't know what they're talking about. Their $300 ticket prices. I'm like, buddy, you play in a significantly smaller rink. Shut the hell up. Probably go like, you played there last year when you had 10 fans. Like, and they gave those tickets away. Ugh, I don't even want to hear it.
That was kind of funny. Arizona guy talking about Toronto fans paying for tickets when, I don't think you really have room to talk.
Yeah. Also, like, what the market will bear, right? Like,
yeah.
supply and demand and all that economics talk.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like, well, we don't need to start the Arizona thing, but yeah.
we're not doing that at this episode.
Yeah. Enough
No.
Arizona.
Yeah,
They
we don't like
stink.
Arizona here.
Enough said.
Enough said. Well, are you shocked at the Islanders that they're floundering already? It
No.
doesn't floor me.
No.
Like, they have a good goaltender, but outside of that, like, I think it's a mishmash, and I feel bad for Barzell signing a long-term deal there.
Yeah. 3 losses in a row for them. Not starting out too hot.
Yeah, and their GM's 80 years old, so whatever. No, he really is. He turned 80 last week. Like, I'm not making it up. Like,
John is an ageist.
yeah, oh gosh. Come on.
That's funny.
I'm an ageist all of a sudden.
There goes our octogenarian demographic. We're not
I
going to
know.
get those listeners anymore.
I know, rats.
Oh.
Well, and also, like, who was it? David Poyle last week for Nashville. Either it was last week or on the weekend. He was the only GM ever in NHL history, 3,000 games at the helm as a general manager. That was split between times with the Caps, and then he was with the Caps for a bunch of years, and then in 97, when Nashville came in to the NHL fold, he joined. Sick, another goal.
No, that's when the game's over, if they win, it goes off.
Oh.
That one always scares me because I don't expect it, because I usually have changed the channel. So it goes off again. I'm like, what the hell?
I just think Lou, I mean, yeah, he had a really great NHL run. He's like, he is a Hall of Famer in the builder category. So, like, good on him. And I think, his time in the NHL, he made a lot of shrewd moves, a lot of good moves, but, like, say whatever you want. He traded away Devon Taves before last year. And yes, I understand it was like a salary cap move. So you got to shed some guys sometimes you don't want. But, like, when your team desperately needs defensive help, especially defensemen who are offensively gifted and can play with, like, top flight players like Devon Taves, like, you got to figure another way out to, like, shed some of those salaries. Like, we talked about Uncle Leo last year, and they still have Kyle Palmieri. And what are you doing, Lou? Jeez, what are you doing? Not my fan base.
Yeah, I think the game just passed them by. It happens. So, whatever. Who cares? It's the Islanders.
Because initially, I mean, when they made that, run in the playoffs, wouldn't really call it a run, but you would think that they would continue that, like, success, and they just kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, and, like, build on it.
Yeah.
I also think they have mediocre coaching. It doesn't help them.
Big Bad
who's
Barry.
who's their coach?
Yeah.
Well, right now it's Lane Lambert, right, Riggs?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was with
Who?
He's been with Trotz for
He's
been
been
with Trotz like
forever.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always been Trotz's I think penalty kill guy.
Yeah.
Was like the big thing, and then obviously, run one end of the bench or whatever. But even when Trotz was with Washington, and they win the cup or whatever, I was never really that impressed. I always thought he led the team towards sort of like a middling sort of average kind of thing. And, yeah, you're going to win a lot of 1 and 2 goal games, but you're also going to lose a lot of 1 and 2 goal games. And that's not a line I necessarily want to walk in the NHL, especially in the modern game where it's so wide open. Why are we tightening up so much? Like, let's play, let's try and score goals. So,
especially he's coached now, like in the Eastern and the Western Conference, there's a lot of guys on a ton of teams where you're talking about like that 1 or 2-0 game. Like, I don't feel comfortable giving some teams like 2 or 3 shots extra a game. Like, depending on who's shooting, obviously. And obviously it's situational based, but like if you're going to play that little dance and you're telling me like, oh, you're going to give like Edmonton, for example, the last 3 shots of the game. Like, I don't feel comfortable doing that.
No.
Toronto, like, yeah, okay, they're having some early season, the elite guys really aren't going yet, but like they're gonna get there. I mean, Steven Stamkos started off the season exactly where he left off last year.
Yeah, he's hot.
He's scoring left and right, doing everything, and Kucherov and Point and all those guys. Like, you want to give that team an extra 2 or 3 shots, especially like you said, Riggs, like playing in the Eastern Conference. That's the team you want to play that dance with? No, thank you.
Again, it's the Islanders. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Don't care.
Another fan base that's going to shower us with love, I'm sure.
You know a team. You know a team that could be really strong if they could get some goaltending.
Who?
The Devils.
I was looking just about to talk about the Devils.
Yeah.
I was looking at the numbers today, and they are playing really well. And then I was watching them tonight because they were playing Washington, and they play with some speed. They control the puck. They just need some goaltending. I think their team save percentage is like below 87 right now or something like that. When I looked this morning, so
save percentage is low, but the goals against is about the middle of the pack, honestly. So
yeah,
they've got good defense in front of their goaltender. Yeah, they just need to get the saves when they need them, like you said.
They just need some saves here and there, and they're going to be good. They're going to surprise a lot of people and teams later in the year. I'll bet. Be interesting.
That's one of those teams that needs to make a jump too.
Oh yeah,
like they need to really do it with some of the guys they have with like Heischer and Bratt and Hughes. So, yeah, I don't know, because goaltending. Like, remember a few years ago they got who was a goaltender for Chicago? Corey Crawford. He got there and then he like retired in the middle of training camp. Unfortunately, like I think he just mentally in his body he just wasn't ready to go. And he retired, and like I remember a few years ago when they had that, they were like, oh, their goaltending problem is going to be solved because they had Taylor Hall when he had that MVP run, and he got him into the playoffs, and then goaltending kind of undid him in the playoffs, and then since then it's been like they don't really have a goaltender.
Who's their goaltender now? Is it Bernier?
No,
Blackwood,
Mackenzie
and Blackwood, and Eric's boy Vanacek.
Yeah,
yeah, yep,
yeah. Washington chased Blackwood tonight, so like again, like they look good, and on paper they look great. Like their numbers are great as far as controlling the puck and driving play and that kind of stuff. They just need some stops.
They're the type too that are like they're mediocre-ish right now. Like overall, like you said, they've got a decent team, but goaltending puts them kind of in mediocre. They're going to be good soon.
Oh
like,
yeah.
They're trending upwards, and God, you watched them tonight? Do they still play that defensive like first mentality?
No, they're fast.
No, they abandoned that.
Good.
Like
they
abandoned that years ago. Years ago.
They work like hell to get the puck back, and then when they get it, they're going north. Like it's and they're attacking off the transition. Like
I just remember playing against the Devils was such a so lame. It's like, oh, we got to play Jersey. This game is gonna suck. Like it doesn't matter how high flying your offense was. Playing against Jersey used to mean that the game was going to be a snooze fest. It was going to be terrible.
That was
hated that style of play. That was a while back. Yeah.
That's when Lamoriello was there, wasn't it?
I think it was. It's come full circle.
I've kind of reversed my thought on that whole like Devils run, like, yes, they did play somewhat of a boring style, but if you looked at the guys they had like really good freaking players. They had Rafalski when he was at his prime, Niedermeyer, Scott Stevens, who was a scumbag. He did elbow Paul Curry in the head. They had really good talent, but they had like Ken Danico and John Madden, like guys that were like sons of bitches to play against, but very smart. So like, I don't know. Did they really need to play that whole like trap nonsense?
What I mean.
Maybe not.
I hated that.
But
they didn't need to.
They didn't need
and I
to
hated
necessarily.
That it
No.
worked.
But yeah.
The NHL did too.
Yeah.
I think for that team to win at that time, they needed to.
Yeah. Because the teams they were going up against were a little faster than them. Just
Yeah.
a little bit. Like, especially you think of like those young Dallas teams or like the tail end of the original Colorado right before they got some of the younger guys. And then when Colorado did get some of the young guys, like Drury and stuff, like then they were really like, they were moving. And we kind of think, like, not in a bad way, like Chris Drury, you think of him like his later years when he was a Ranger, like probably a lot of like, let's just call it current hockey fans are like, he was slow as hell. Like, no, when Chris Drury started, when he was at the Avs, that guy moved.
He would scream.
When he came out of BU, he was one of the fastest skaters
flying
in the league. Like the dude was quick.
Yeah.
But, you know, obviously like, yeah, the modern fans, right? The more recent.
Yeah, they remember him near when he was a time with the Rangers near the end of his career.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was also with those high-flying Buffalo Sabres, too.
Yes.
Like, he was part of that band. I mean, sheesh.
With the Finneganoff and all that stuff going on.
Danny
like,
Briere.
Yeah.
Brian Campbell.
Finneganoff. Man, that dude was so slick.
Joachim Hecht. Do you remember that?
I remember Joachim Hecht. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And
Tim Connolly.
Yeah.
JP Dumont.
They had good teams, man.
Yeah, they had a squad. They had a squad.
I know. And it was Marty Baron and Ryan Miller in net, which actually both of those guys, not bad goalies to have.
No.
At all. They just ran into Carolina the one year, and then the next year, I forget who they lost to the next year in the conference final. It was Carolina one year, and then I forget off the top of my head. But yeah.
It's kind of funny we're talking about this. Ryan Miller, I saw he was giving knuckle pounds to the guys coming in off the ice. He just like went in to visit the Buffalo Sabres. And I swear it seemed like they didn't even know who the hell he was.
Oh man, they're gonna put his jersey in the rafters.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Yeah,
I swear, like none of them looked thrilled.
Well, they were probably like, "Who's this guy? Is he our coach?
Is this the new video coach?"
oh man!
You start handing them his jocks.
Video coaches do great work. Do not disparage video coaches.
I know.
Oh,
they do.
man.
I'm just saying, like, you know, it's a new guy in the room, and you know.
But yeah,
whatever.
you got to think because he was in Anaheim and Vancouver. Wait, was it Vancouver?
He was in Vancouver for a while,
a long time,
but not like it was Anaheim.
Buffalo.
Yeah, it was Buffalo, Vancouver, Anaheim. Yeah, I mean, so it's been a while. I mean, I know for a fact, like, and actually probably no one from that Sabres management was there unless they have some scouts that stuck around or something like that. But like, no one from the management team, obviously, because brand new ownership and all that. But yeah, oh, Ryan Miller. Actually, I read it like 2 or 3 years ago. There was this great article about Ryan Miller and how that. I hate mentioning it. Sidney Crosby golden goal in overtime against Ryan Miller. It like essentially started this downward spiral in his career.
Yeah,
like he still was a very good NHLer. Like let's not disparage him, but when that goal went in, like there was talk like Ryan Miller was going to be, you know, a Vezina candidate for a few years to come. Buffalo was still flying high, and then like right after that goal, like the next couple of years they went to the playoffs like that year, and the next couple of years they didn't make the playoffs. Ryan Miller got hurt, then he got traded. It was like a very interesting article to like tie all these things back to that golden goal. And I was like, God damn you, Sidney Crosby. Hate you. I was like, I was trying
to find the stats, but Ryan Miller in particular has never had good luck against Sidney Crosby. That or Crosby has just been phenomenal against him. Because
I'm willing to bet that's quite a few goalies.
it is,
Like
but in
Sid has
particular,
success
Cedric Lundqvist.
Yeah,
if
Lundy.
you look at game splits and stuff, I
Mhm.
guarantee you that Crosby has more goals against Buffalo Sabres in the Ryan Miller years than it gets any other team at
Billy.
the time.
He has
I
more against
guarantee
Philly.
Well, maybe, but whatever. In particular, Ryan Miller.
I think
Ryan
Philly.
Miller just could not stop Sidney Crosby. And it seemed like there were always like these spectacular goals. I feel like I saw loads of highlights.
He was
of
in
him
the
just
outdoor game, right?
undressing it.
The outdoor game winner.
The original, the original
Yep.
Winter Classic or inaugural, whatever. And Crosby won that one and a shootout or whatever. And then the golden goal against Ryan Miller. Like he had Ryan Miller's number. I actually was just looking this up here. Apparently they did off-season training together too.
I got the top 5
They were
goalies
friends.
he scored against. You ready?
All right, let's go.
This was last year when Sidney Crosby scored his 500th, so February 15th. So Niittymaki, 11, Flyer. Ryan Miller, 11. Martin Brodeur, 12. Jaro Halak, 14. A guy out of New York, Henrik Lundqvist, 24. He has massacred him.
Oh man.
But yeah.
Miller's on the list though. I'm not too far.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But definitely Flyers. I feel like Niittymaki, because he was a Flyer, but I bet there's like 7 other Flyers goaltenders on here who are only there for like a season. So you probably had like 4, 3,
Right.
2, 4, 2, something like
Do you
that.
have those numbers for Ovechkin?
I bet Ovechkin.
I want to know what the top goalies that Ovi has scored on.
Yeah.
Flurry.
Yeah.
I feel like he's
Lundqvist.
always torched Flurry.
Uh-huh.
Did you say Lundqvist?
Yeah,
Yeah. The two big rivals. Like Washington was big rivals with Pittsburgh and with New
Right.
York. And Ovi shows up.
he ate Lundqvist's lunch every time they played him.
All right. So this was done. Let me see when this was written. So March 22nd of this year. So
Oh.
I'll read the top 5. All right. So what are your selections? What are you guys going with for like
Well,
top
I said
Top.
Flurry.
Flurry? Aaron?
I
You
don't
going?
know. I don't even know. Don't
It's
have a
gotta-
good guess.
Riggs?
It's got to be somebody out of the Metro, right? I mean,
Lundqvist.
All right. So tied for 5th, Cam Ward and Ryan Miller at 19. Okay.
oh man.
Both. So Ryan Miller, Buffalo, Cam Ward of Carolina, Kari Lettinen of Atlanta Thrashers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
22.
I forgot about
Legit, that's right.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna go with like a Trashers
right.
goalie. I was thinking about that.
Or maybe Panthers.
Yeah.
Some
The old-
Panthers goalie.
Yeah.
The old
Carey-
South Least Division.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lettinen and Carey Price both have 22. And then number 2 all time, at least when this was published earlier this year, 24 goals against, Lundy,
Yeah.
taking the number 1 spot at 25 goals against. And I'm sure it's risen because I'm sure he's played Vegas and Minnesota since then. Mark
It is
Andre Fleury. Tell him what he's
What did I
won.
win?
Used Keno ticket. How about that?
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Ovi loves to show up in rivalry games. He's a competitor.
Yeah,
That
he
is
gets
correct.
up for that stuff. So he,
Absolutely. Well, also, like, he likes playing in the big buildings, so New York,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
I really hope Ovi gets 50 this year. Like, I want him to keep that pace. Like, I know it's going to be tough. Like, it's early
think
right now.
everybody does.
I really want him
doesn't-
to do it.
he doesn't need to, though. That's the thing.
He
What does
doesn't need to.
He needs like 30 some a season
It's like,
for the next couple seasons
like
or whatever.
almost 40. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, you know,
Every
Doable.
season he gets 50 though, then the number goes down the next few
well,
seasons.
yeah. Well, every time he scores a goal, the number goes down.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Math. I mean, it's basic math.
It does?
Well, the one reason I think is like, I think Washington can, I mean, I think the same way about the Penguins. Like, every year those guys are here, we're one step closer to a rebuild. So you have certain pieces that are on both teams. We don't need to go by player that are like very appealing in the event you're going to start a rebuild or get a piece ahead of the rebuild, like draft picks or prospects or something like that. So especially when you run the risk of like you're middling to the playoffs, you may not be going into the playoffs, etc. Like those are pieces that can help Ovi especially get to that milestone that he may need to be around, that if they trade him, they're not there. So like kind of selfishly for that reason, I mean, I know some people in Pittsburgh are going to be like, you kidding me? Well, shut up. So I want to see it. I really want to see it. Like I want to see some hockey history. Like even if he doesn't, I mean, he's going to shatter the rest of the records going forward. Like he's going to get to second because Gordy's pretty damn close, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
And I think he already passed a bunch of guys last season. So, but I'm curious if the same head coach will be there. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
He's currently 19 away from passing Gordy.
Yeah, he'll get Gordy this year
He'll
for
get
sure.
Gordy this year.
Yeah, that's not even a question. But like, yeah, he'll be
the third ever to crack 800 goals.
It'll be pretty
nuts.
wild.
Oof.
Yeah, it is.
That's still nuts. Like you think if Bossy probably didn't have the back issues and everything, he probably would have. Mario had a chance, obviously. I feel like Yager would have if he didn't have those KHL years. Those are the only players I really feel that ever had a chance.
Thing is, too, though, is that Ovi has fewer games played than all these guys. Like,
Yeah.
Ovi's at
except for
about
Gretz.
13. Yeah, except for Gretz. Well,
yeah.
Gretzky still has more, but probably by the time
he
breaks
gets
the
there,
record,
yeah,
it's going to be about the same.
Yeah.
So Gordy has 1,700 games played, while Ovi only has like 1,300. And obviously, Ovechkin's going to pass him with far fewer games played, far faster bigger goals per game than Gordy or Yager. Yager has 1,700 games played. I mean, the only one that's similarly impressive at the current rate is probably Brett Hull, who is about 40 back from Ovechkin right now, and has like maybe 20 fewer games played or so.
Right.
One of his didn't count.
Well,
his foot was in the crease.
Well, it's playoffs. It's playoffs anyway.
Playoff goal anyway. Doesn't
playoffs
count.
Yeah,
anyway.
I know. I just had to get it in. I like starting shit.
Ovi does have all the power play goals, though.
Yeah.
I think there's only one that has more power play goals. Who's it? Dave Andrechek. Dave Andrechek has the only one with more power play goals than Ovi.
Man, big Buffalo night tonight.
I know, man. It's like all about Buffalo.
All roads lead to Buffalo.
Oh, I'm wrong.
Right,
Dave
Reg?
Andrechek is second. Sorry, I had that wrong. Ovi does have the most power play goals.
Yeah, he passed them like last
he was
week
like a year
or
or so
something.
ago.
No, it was like last week, I think.
Well, he's got him by 12 power play goals.
Oh,
so.
there was something that came up last week. I forget what it was. It might be points on power play
or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it's like every week there's a different number that they're tracking. Like
right,
and then,
yeah.
You know, like because
Like,
that's
he's
where he's
close
at.
on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he doesn't break the record, if he for some reason doesn't break Gretzky's record, everybody is going to remember Ovechkin as the best goal scorer in hockey history because of the era. Like
absolutely.
The arguments, we always make the arguments about what do the eras, are they any different? But it's he's scoring on goaltenders with bigger pads, with better training. I don't know. I will always think of Ovechkin as the best goal scorer in history, even as of right now.
But I think, I don't know, man. Like I think it's silly to compare the different eras. You know, whatever.
It is apples and oranges, but
I think
I don't know.
You know, I think as the game evolves and rolls along, we weight things differently. So right now we're in a time where goal scoring is up, and it's been up for a few years. So you could say that, well, he's playing in an era where, you know, there is more goal scoring.
It's also playing in an era where sticks are 5 times lighter than the ones that Gretzky
the
used.
technology and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And because
the things working in his favor,
but
might offset the goalies.
When Gretzky was passing Gordie Howe, you could have said the same things about Wayne, that, he was playing with better equipment than what, Gordie started out playing with, even though like his career kind of finished while Wayne's was like in the middle of his career, but, because he played so long. But, you can make all the same arguments as you move through the eras and the years, right? No matter what players you're trying to compare and who you're talking about and stuff. So I don't like to get into those arguments because I think they're silly.
Fair enough.
And to say like, oh, he's the best goal scorer ever right now, you can say that, but in 5 years, we're probably saying the same thing about Austin Matthews, right? That okay, he's the best goal scorer ever because he's going to have those numbers and he's going to be chasing, whatever records and stuff. So,
sure.
I don't like saying those things about players. And then like, we were having the discussion almost right after we recorded last week about the NHL Network's top 100 players or whatever.
Yeah.
It's I use the same argument with that too. I think it's silly to like put anything into that or to get upset about it that a player's on there or not on there.
Yeah.
Because
the one that I was talking about was top 100 this season.
Oh, so the
they left Malkin off the
what do they
top
call
100
it?
this season.
So it's the one they do
it's
at
like
the
the
beginning of the season. Yeah. And so like so my whole thing with that is, okay, yeah, you could put them in there depending on how you're evaluating the players. Like what determines whether or not a player should be on that list? Is it, and then are you like weighting it by positions and which positions, carry more priority or help your team more than others? Like, I still say that the NHL is dominated by centers. So, okay, Malkin's a center. Like, yeah, he should definitely be up there. But then what has he done lately?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But then that's stupid because he's still top 6. He's still a first or second line center in the league.
Right.
So there's only so many of those. So by default and math, he should, be in that top 100 discussion of players in the NHL. So it's just dumb to me. I think it's silly.
I feel like the top 100, like I hate those lists like U-Rigs because like whoever's doing it, there is a bias. There's no way there's not a bias.
Yes.
And it's the same way when they do the voting for a lot of the big season ending awards. There's always some clown. Like last year for the MVP, I think like they announced it. They didn't say who, but there was one goalie who won for like freaking Vancouver. Like somebody voted for Demko or some nonsense for MVP. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, they didn't even make the playoffs. Like, what are you doing? And yes, it's a throwaway vote, whatever. But like, come on, like, Phil Kessel just scored too. Sorry, I got excited.
My question about the Malkin thing on that list was he's typically not been included on those lists for a long time, even in the years where he was like dominant. He was left off of certain lists, right?
Yeah.
And I think that you're exactly right. There was some bias against him or for other players that made it look like it was against him. That's why I think it's stupid for people to like make these lists and then be like, oh well, my favorite players in the top 100, yours isn't, or like whatever. Like it doesn't matter.
I mean, Johnny made a list last week.
Yeah.
Who's top 100 on yours? That list has surely grown since last week.
It's continually changing and growing.
It was Victor Olofsson, right? Enemy number one last week.
Trust me, the list is constantly fluctuating. It looks like crypto. It's just constantly just moving up and down. Like a lot of players in flux. A lot of different ways I could go with it. Just depends on the day. Well, actually, I will say this. So like we were kind of like joking before we started because Phil Kessel's breaking the Iron Man streak this evening.
Sick.
And the fact that like no one's talking about it kind of irks me because like everyone gave Keith Yandel all this love. And we all said jokingly, like, Keith Yandel isn't even a quarter of the hockey player Phil Kessel is. Like, it's tough to play in the NHL. I'm not taking that away from you. But 2-time Stanley Cup champion and point-a-game guy in the playoffs pretty much. Almost point-a-game guy when he plays in the regular season, for God's sakes. Like, very, very productive.
Yeah.
American.
I mean, well, Yandel's American, too.
But like... Phil's the American. Like, come on.
Well, yeah, he is. You know? Right. Yes.
Like, he's the American.
Yes.
Phil's one of us. He's one of us. So
that does it for episode 115. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back next week for episode 116. But in the meantime, if you want to continue the Beers in the Lot fun and discussion, head over to beersinthelot.com/Discord. There's usually some kind of funny discussion going on in there based on some recent NHL event or John's memes. So come hang out with us at beersinthelot.com/Discord. If we don't see you there, we'll catch you next week for episode 116. See you then.